Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you and welcome. It is blues time. My name is Griff Hamlin. How are you? From Blues Guitar Unleashed here. Talking today about the A minor pentatonic boxes because quite a few of the videos that I've done recently, we have, these boxes, they come up. They come up a lot. And quite a few people said, hey, what are the boxes? And so I got to thinking about it, and the pentatonic scale, while it's a very standard sound, obviously we use it a lot in the blues, we don't necessarily, I want to make sure that we're all speaking about the exact same thing. So I'm going to go over what I call the 5 boxes. Some people call them patterns. Some people change them, whether you look at them in a minor or a major fashion. I don't do that. And I'll get into that a little bit, but I don't want to get too crazy on that because you can go deep with this stuff. You very much can go very, very deep with this stuff. So before I forget, also, if you are not on the email list or if you would like your free copy of my How to Jam book, you download it. All you got to do is go to this page that's on your screen, gobgu.com/howtojam. And I do have that book. It's very useful, so you might get some good things out of it. Get you started soloing, playing rhythm, playing songs, all that kind of stuff. So want to make sure I mention that. So let's talk about some things. Let me make some adjustments here on the screen, and poof! Look at that. It's amazing. It is amazing. All right, A minor pentatonic box 1. There's a picture of it on your screen right there. And this is a fretboard diagram, obviously. So the red note at the bottom, right? This is an A. It is the root note. That is why it is in red. So the bottom of the diagram is the 6th string. It even draws it a little bit wider and fatter for you there. So we have the 5th fret on the 6th string. That is the root. We're going to talk about changing the roots and going to different keys here in a minute. But what you want to start out with is, this is called box 1. So it's A, C at the 8th fret of the 6th string, 5th and 7th, the D and E on the 5th string, 5th and 7th, the G and A on the 4th string. So I'm back to A again. So notice that I'm going to A, then C and D, the 5th and 7th frets on the 3rd string, 5th and 8th, the E and the G on the 2nd string, A and C, 5th and 8th frets on the 1st string. So what you want to get used to is the fingering pattern. First finger, pinky. You could do it with your 3rd finger. I do it with my pinky. Either way, this is what you want to get comfortable with. A, C, or first finger, 4th finger, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 4th, 1st, 4th. Okay? Okay, now your first step, your first goal is to get that pattern memorized. It is the A minor pentatonic scale. It consists of the notes A, C, D, E, and G. The term box only works for guitar players. We have to compartmentalize the notes because they appear in different places, okay? For example, I could play this A here, or I could play here, or I could play here, okay? So the same note appears in lots of places. Pianos don't have that. Saxophones don't have that. Trumpets don't have that. Guitars have that. So boxes have to do with how we compartmentalize the notes in a way that makes them playable for us. Okay, if you go tell a piano player, hey, play in box 1, he's going to be like, that means nothing to me. I don't know what that is. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you say play the A minor pentatonic scale, he knows exactly what you're talking about. All right, so the musical term here is the fact that we're playing the minor pentatonic scale, key of A minor. Okay, now if I want to move it around, once you have that pattern, no problem. Move it wherever you want it. Here's a G, G minor pentatonic. Need a C? Great, here's a C, C minor pentatonic. Okay, so that's no problem. So your first job is to get box 1 under your fingers. When you have it, then we move on to box 2. Why do we have a box 2? Okay, well, because I want to change the notes to a different fretboard region. So you'll notice that I'm no longer in 5th position, meaning I'm no longer where my first finger is hanging out on the 5th fret. I'm where my first finger is hanging out at the 7th fret. So I've got the C and the D, 8 and 10 on the 6th string, 7 and 10 on the 5th string, 7 and 10 on the 4th string, 7 and 9 on the 3rd string, 8 and 10, 8 and 10 on the top 2 strings. But these are still the same notes. That D is that D, that G is that G, that C is that C. You can mix them, you can go from one to the next. And I encourage you to do just that. Just noodle with these things a bunch. And move between them. Do whatever you can do. Once you got those down, move on to the 3rd box. So from here, I'm going to be starting at the 10th fret of the 6th string. So I've got 10 and 12 on the 6th string, 10 and 12 on the 5th, 10 and 12 on the 4th, 9 and 12 on the 3rd. You can finger that, 1st and 3rd finger if it's more comfortable. 10 and 13 on the 2nd string, 10 and 12 on the top string. One thing is when I practice these, I tend to stop and start. I tend to start and stop on the root notes. Okay, it helps to get the sound in your mind. So while I'll play all the notes, I'll probably start and stop from either that root or that root. Okay, moving up from there, we go up to the 4th box, 12th fret of the 6th string. This is the E. 12 and 15 on the 6th string, 12 and 15 on the 5th string, and there's my root at that 12th fret. 12 and 14, on the 4th string. 12 and 14 on the 3rd string, 13, 15 on the 2nd string. You can use middle and pinky or 1st and 3rd. It depends on what I'm playing after that for how I'll play that. And then 12 and 15 on the top string. Again though, get the fingering pattern. You want to get to where you can just close your eyes, throw your fingers down, and play the pattern for box 4. Don't worry about what key it's in. Just throw your fingers down, pick a fret, and play the pattern. Okay? But for the key of A minor, it's here. And again, I would start and stop on a root. Now, if I continue up the fretboard, I get the 15th fret. This is the last pattern, box 5. 15 and 17 on the 6th string, 15 and 17 on the 5th. Got to make a little jog back. 14 and 17 on the 4th, 14 and 17 on the 3rd, 15 and 17 on the 2nd, 15 and 17 on the 1st. However, if you were, say, an acoustic player, for example, you probably don't even have that many frets available. So I could drop this down an octave. 12 frets is an octave, right? So I could just as easily start it here down at the 3rd fret. 3 and 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. And again, just decide on a fingering and memorize it. And of course, from there, I'm back to box 1. And from there, I'm at box 2. And from there, I'm at box 3. And from there, I'm at box 4. And from there, I'm at box 5. And from there, I'm at box 1. I can keep going kind of forever. I mean, they just loop around, one octave after the next. And that's it. That's all 5 boxes. Okay. Now, again, if I were to change the key right? If I were to go, say, to G, box 1 would be here, box 2 would be here. They'd all move by the same amount. Box 3, box 4, box 5, box 1 again. So that's really it. I don't want to make this more complicated than it is. With the 5 boxes, you are playing the 5, you're basically playing a pattern off of each of the 5 notes in the pentatonic scale. So the first box starts on the first note of the pentatonic scale, minor pentatonic scale. The second box starts on the second note of the minor pentatonic scale. The third box starts on the third note. The fourth box starts on the fourth note. The fifth box starts on the fifth note. But they all 5 patterns contain the exact same 5 notes, those 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I don't want to get too carried away. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of what you can do with them. I have plenty of other videos on that. Right now, you just need to get yourself comfortable with them. Take the first pattern, just noodle it. Get to where you have it memorized. Turn on a jam track. Anything in the key of A or D or C or whatever you like, and just play along. Don't worry about playing licks. Don't worry about playing anything fancy. Just kind of noodle with it, make some sounds, call it a day. All right, get it under your fingers. That's where you want to start first. When you get box 1 down and you feel really comfortable with it and you want to add some notes, then maybe you add on box 2. But don't try to learn all 5 of them all at once. That's a tedious way to do it. Okay? I think that's it. I don't see too many questions. Does the pattern stay constant per box? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Each box has its own pattern. Pattern starting at open string. Yes. Thank you, Lloyd. Appreciate that. And of course, for those of you that are BGU members, if you have any questions about this stuff, please come on the forum and ask us. We can solve them. We can solve questions really fast there. If you're an All Access Pass member, send in the question. Let's do it on a Fix-It session. We have a lot of options for helping you. If you're not and you'd like to become one, gobgu.com/allaccess is probably the easiest way to tell you to do that. Okay, so I am going to, what's the groove? The groove is whatever you want. This works for any style of blues. Straight feel, slow blues, shuffle blues, does not matter. Works for any type of blues, even many classic rock stuff. If you get into the classic, I have a course also, Classic Rock Guitar Unleashed. And again, all this minor pentatonic stuff, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, all that stuff is also mostly minor pentatonic. So there's a whole lot of music there. All right, so I'm going to sign off for now. I actually have a lesson coming soon, and I will see you guys later. Take care.